in Rivers State. President-elect Bola Tinubu expected back in Nigeria today. Police hunt for trailer driver involved in accident which killed toddler in Rumusi, Rivers State. NEMA to begin evacuation of 2,000 Nigerians in crisis-hit Sudan. On the foreign scene, more than 1,000 European Union citizens evacuated from conflict-hit Sudan. I am Kalada Kurubatibo. Good afternoon. Remember, peace is the path to the prosperity of any nation. Let peace reign. The SDP governorship candidate in Rivers State, Magnus Abe, says the same boys who were used by politicians to cause violence during the last elections in Rivers State are the ones orchestrating the current violence in Diob axis of Port Harcourt. The SDP governorship candidate said this while speaking on Nigeria Info's Morning Crossfire. Mr. Abe also believes that it is the duty of the state government to respond appropriately to the violence.
All these things are related to our politics. You know, boys have been brought out. People who ordinarily shouldn't be on the streets were let loose on the streets. They were armed to do what we know that happened. These were the same boys carrying canes. They're flogging anybody who doesn't do what they're supposed to do. It is the responsibility of the state to respond and respond robustly. Just within the past 2 or 3 days, I know the cries that I've been getting from people in Diob who are forced to relocate. People are in their homes. People come into the compound, kill people. And these things are like movies coming from South America. But it is actually happening in Port Harcourt Township.
Mr. Abe also said the relocation of the election petition tribunal from Port Abuja may not necessarily guarantee justice.
I think that the sitting of a tribunal is a justice. It's part of creating an atmosphere in which justice can be done. But I think it's more about access. Because if the tribunal sits in a place where you cannot go, your own people cannot go, where you can go and present your fact, your bill, the issue of whether there's justice or not becomes secondary because you cannot even go. Like INEC office in Port Harcourt was blockaded. People couldn't even go there. We couldn't get any cooperation.
There is SDP governorship candidate also responded to questions on how to work with the incoming government of the state.
For me, it's whatever country. I've said when I want to be there, I believe that in the affairs of our state, ultimately the Almighty God Himself will speak and life will be better for our people.
The Forum of Elected Ward Chairmen of the APC in Rivers State has expressed their full support to the relocation of the Election Petitions Tribunal out of Rivers State. In a communique issued and signed by the chairman of all the ward chairmen, Ekpomogu Joshua, the group said the relocation will ensure the safety of candidates, witnesses, lawyers, and the judges. Moving on. Reports say hoodlums blocked the Uruala Abakiliki Junction, Mile 1 due Port Harcourt last night, robbing motorists and road users. The report said the hoodlums also invaded and looted shops in Lumbumba Street in Mile 1 Dube. The police are expected to speak on this. Police say they are trailing the driver whose trailer killed a child and injured his mother and siblings at Rumusi Junction axis of the East-West Road, Rivers State over the weekend. The police spokesperson in the state, Grace Ringe Koko, who made this known, said the investigation is ongoing. Earlier, an eyewitness told our correspondent that the trailer driver was driving at high speed when he lost control while approaching Rumusi Junction. The eyewitness said the trailer hit the median of the road and fell on a 2-year-old child. He said the mother of the child, our other 2 children, are in the hospital.
You know, say this federal road, they always get hold up for this Rumusi junction. So I need they on speed, so you know if you hold the brake. As if they hold up, they can't climb. If to say go straight, in for don't clear those people where they there. So you can't use the steering, drive and climb that walkover. As in climb that walkover. And people they inside that walkover. But the people where they inside that walkover now, mother and the children. So as then here say the motor don't climb, so they don't make them they find to run. As then run come this side, the trailer come fall on top of the walkover and him fall. Pour this thing when carry, the goods when carry. From then fall on top of the mother and the children. So now only the 2-year-old boy or 3-year-old boy, now he can't die.
There are indications that the president-elect Bola Tinubu may return to the country today after a 34-day absence from Nigeria. The planned arrival of Tinubu was confirmed yesterday by his Director of Media and Publicity, Bayo Onanuga. He said Tinubu's aircraft will land at the presidential wing of the Abuja airport and will be escorted from the airport by a carnival-like motorcade to the Defense House. Tinubu had on the 21st of March traveled out of the country in what his campaign council said was meant for him to rest and plan ahead of his inauguration on May 29. Meanwhile, The APC has dissolved its presidential campaign council following the victory of its flag bearer Bola Tinubu in the February 25 presidential election. The dissolution was contained in a statement that was jointly signed by the PCC Director General, Governor Simon Lalong, and the Secretary of the Council, James Faleke. Moving on, Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema has assured the safety and evacuation of Nigerians stranded in crisis-ridden Sudan. Mr. Onyema gave the assurance on the channel's television program. He said plans are on the way to evacuate about 5,000 stranded Nigerians by road.
So we also don't want to expose our citizens to that danger as well. So I was put in touch today with somebody in the office of the president, Borhan, and made a formal request to have a safe passage, safe corridor for us to evacuate our people. And I've been in touch round the clock with our embassy there, and they've given us a cost estimate, they've given us all the details, and they've given us a figure of 5,500 ready for evacuation.
While explaining the possible routes to be used for the evacuation, the Foreign Affairs Minister also spoke about the online reports that Nigerian students escaping the war-torn Sudan are not being allowed into Ethiopia.
The options available to us are those three: the Ethiopian border, the Port Sudan, and Egyptian border. A video that went viral that said that Nigerian students, some of whom got to the border, were not being allowed into Ethiopia. So I called the Deputy Prime Minister and I put this to him, sent him the video, and told him that, we really needed to sort that out. He was very supportive and asked for some information, which we've provided, to try to quickly sort out that situation.
The National Emergency Management Agency has confirmed plans to evacuate over 2,000 Nigerians in crisis-hit Sudan by tomorrow. The agency's Director Special Duties, Onimode Bandele, said this yesterday. He revealed plans to get buses to start moving from tomorrow morning. He said the Director General National Emergency Management Agency, Mustafa Habib, is already in Cairo to perfect the plans. In the meantime, one of Nigeria's domestic airlines has expressed its willingness to evacuate Nigerians stranded in Sudan free of charge. Many have criticized the federal government for delays in the evacuation of about 4,000 stranded Nigerians in war-torn Sudan. The conflict between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary group Rapid Support Force has claimed over 400 lives, with thousands of others injured and millions displaced. The clashes broke out between former allies General Abdel Al-Buhan, who heads the Sudanese armed forces, and the RSF paramilitary group led by General Mohamed Dagalo. Several ceasefires that had seemingly been agreed upon by both sides were ignored, including a 3-day pause to mark the Muslim holiday of Eid al-Fitr, which started on Friday. The federal government has started paying the approved pay rise to civil servants in the country. Some civil servants confirmed this. Recall that the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, disclosed in March that the federal government approved the pay rise for civil servants. He had said the pay rise was included in the 2023 budget and would take effect from January 1. Still ahead, married corps members get permission to redeploy to husband's state of residence. Stay tuned as we go for a quick break. Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. Now to the rest of the news. The National Youth Service Corps has asked married female prospective corps members posted to states other than the one their husbands reside to request redeployment. This was disclosed by the scheme on Monday via its Twitter handle. In business, Nigeria's borrowing from the World Bank has risen by 121.46% under the Muhammadu Buhari administration. Reports say the total debt owed to the World Bank by Nigeria rose by $7.64 billion in 7 years. In the data from the External Debt Stock Reports by the Debt Management Office, the country's indebtedness to the World Bank rose from $6.29 billion as of December 2015 to $13.93 billion as of December 2022. On entertainment, the Oba of Benin, Eware II, is the former Netherlands of Nigeria's government gazette recognizing and investing and management of traded Benin artifacts in the Benin monarch. This is contained in a statement today in Benin City by Chief Secretary Mr. Ugwobaru or Siagbovo. The ongoing plan of the construction of the new Royal Museum of the Nigerian government is on course. In sports, British long-distance runners has proved that they will bring an end to his impressive career after the Great North Run in September. Farah completed his final London Marathon on Sunday, finishing 9th in 2 hours, 10 minutes and 20 seconds. In sports legend, turned 40 last month, won the 2012 and 2016 peak 5,000 meters and 10,000 meters.
Bringing you on what?
On scene now, EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell says more than EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell says more than 1,000 European Union citizens have been evacuated from conflicted Sudan. Borrell also informed journalists yesterday that 21 diplomats from the EU's mission in Khartoum were taken out and the EU ambassador had moved outside the capital to elsewhere in Sudan. Similarly, 100 French nationals and other nationalities have already been evacuated from Sudan by France, and another 100 are expected to follow. On the news this afternoon, you heard Rivers SDP governorship candidate Magnus Abe links current cold violence in Diob to last general elections in Rivers State. President-elect Bulletin is expected back to Nigeria today. He's Nigerians in crisis in Sudan. Announcing more than 1,000 European Union citizens evacuated from conflicted Sudan. The news was edited by Onyekachi Wonsu. Partly sunny weather in Port Harcourt this afternoon. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. Good afternoon. Stay tuned. Sunnyside with Constance Mega is up next. Good afternoon once again.